concerned about what we're doing here in America. Why are we waiting? Last year, we waited until Christmas Eve. And I always remember going home Christmas Eve. It happened to fall in at the same time that it was the worst snowstorm in the history of Texas and northeastern Oklahoma, and barely made it in time to get home. Yeah, I've got 20 kids and grandkids. I'd kind of like to see them at Christmas time. And these are things that we could have been doing a long time ago. But you wait to the last minute to say, well, this is where you want to cram things through that the American people don't want and that should take time. And we beat up this thing on this treaty for long enough. But let's just look at what we should be talking about now. That is running government for into the next year, so we don't have some type of a stoppage, some type of a crisis on our hands. So they have the liberals have the Omnibus bill that they have up there. They want to get this passed, a bill that's $1.3 trillion. Here we're talking about, we have actually increased, we've come up with $2 trillion in just $2 trillion in the first 2 years. This is unheard of in terms of deficits. Look where we're going right now, with $9 billion more spending in this year than in last year. And we thought last year was an absolute disaster. And at the same time, where's the spending going? Well, we have such things as their agenda, $1.4 billion for a variety of climate change programs. They're not going to give up on that. They're going to keep coming forth, trying to spend money, $1.4 billion. And they're talking about the money for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, talking about zeroing out the efforts in Yucca Mountain. I mean, these are things that are in this bill, and what it does to the defense system. Everything is enhanced except our defense. What is this aversion to trying to rebuild Americans' defense system? Overall, the defense spending cuts in the omnibus bill amount to $10.3 billion. That's from the president's request, 2011 request. It includes the $450 million to include work on the second engine, the alternate engine. We've already talked about that. We have been discussing that in the Senate Armed Services Committee, the House Armed Services Committee. We decided, I think justly, I was on the single engine side of that argument because of the sheer cost. And yet, I know the arguments on both sides, but we've already done that. We've already debated it. I don't know why we have to come to the floor after we have made these decisions and then look at a bill. It cuts the proposed purchase of the F-35s from 42 to 35. Well, let's remember what happened a year and a half ago. They talked about doing away with the F-22s, which are our only fifth generation capability that we have. And the excuse, the justification was, look what we're doing with F-35s. Well, that's fine. So it's going to be 42. This bill would cut it down and further cuts. So while we're increasing, we're talking about a bill, $1.3 trillion, it just throws money on every kind of social engineering, everything you can have except defense. The SERP program. The SERP program is called, it used to be called, it's changed now, the Commander's Emergency Relief Program. It was one that was my program. You talk to the commanders in the field, they'll tell you that they have the capability of taking care of some of these needs, whether it used to be Iraq, now Afghanistan. They can accomplish so much more if they can do it right now, and that was called the SERP program. Well, they're already bringing the funding of that down in this bill. So I look at this, I look at $1 trillion of this, over $1 trillion in funding to implement the very unpopular health care law. So if anybody's out there thinking that this is going to be an easy lift, I personally think that we will be able to defeat this omnibus bill. I think it'll be defeated by almost all of the Republicans and a few of the Democrats, particularly those that are coming up for re-election in 2012. I would hate to be in a position where I'd say what I'm going to run on is the fact that I've already voted to put a new and more than $1 trillion to fund this form of socialized medicine. So anyway, that's where we are right now. I do think that we need to take a deep breath and just figure that we have a new Congress coming in, a new Senate coming in 2000 or right after January, and we'd have plenty of time to allow other senators who are elected to weigh in on this very critical issue of the New START treaty. With that, I'll yield the floor.